What's up, guys? We are now on episode 6. Oh my gosh. Episode 6 of Behind the Golf Brand podcast. This week I have Art Chou from Rapsodo Golf. I've been working with Rapsodo for about a year now. They make the coolest tech out there. I really feel it's the game changer in launch monitors. There's nothing like it. The size, the capability. And so I have Art today. Art is the GM of North America for Rapsodo. And we're going to get to know Art and Rapsodo brand. And that's about it. So welcome to the show today.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me here.
So before we begin, usually what happens is this. My first talk to a brand, I always ask them, what's their story, right? Because for me, I feel like when you know someone's story, you know the person, and you also know more about the brand. And that 5-10 minutes of getting to kind of know them tells me who they are in a nutshell. And I have a better feeling of is this guy cool or not? Can you tell us, I know some of your stories because I love your story, but can you tell us how you got into golf?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm born and raised in Philadelphia. I'm a Philly guy. Went to high school there. Went to graduate school there. I'm an engineer. Well, I got my degree in engineering, master's degree in engineering. But I was always into sports, and I took up golf in college. And golf was the only sport where you could tinker around with your own equipment. And this was, pre-internet. This was when Golf Works and Golfsmith had the catalogs. You got in the mail and you're ordering shafts. And I'm putting clubs together, and I'm doing that on my own just for fun. And a coworker, I'm actually working for my father's engineering company at a grad school, and a coworker shows me an ad in the back of Mechanical Engineering magazine that says "Golf Engineer Wanted." And a little description there, and it says Titleist, to buy Titleist. And he comes up, he says, "Man, this is the type of stuff you've been doing in your spare time. You got to look into this." And it's just funny because he's an old friend. I remember he said, "But if you get this job, you gotta never tell your old man that I was the one that showed you this job, because he's going to be pissed at me." So I get this ad, and I say, "Geez, I want to go. I'm interested in this. I want to go respond to this, but I don't want to just send my resume in. I'm not. That's for everybody else, right? I don't want to do just that." So we had a sales rep who was a college golfer, and so I call him up and say, "Hey, do you know anybody at Titleist that I can talk to?" And he goes, "No, but my buddy that I played with in college is still playing the mini tours, and he's a Titleist guy. Let me call him." So I said, "Great," because he calls him. I get a call back, a day later. He says, "Okay." He says, "The guy to talk to is a guy named Wally Uline." Okay. And so I said, "So I write Wally Uline down." And this was 1989. So this is pre-internet, there's yellow pages, right? I'm looking up the yellow pages, Titleist 800 number, dial the 800 number. "Hello, Titleist Foot Show Worldwide. Yeah, may I speak to Wally Uline, please? Please hold." Over to Wally. "Hello, Wally Uline's office. Yeah, may I speak to Wally, please?" "No, he's not in. I may ask who's calling." And I said, "Well, my name is Archie. He doesn't know me, but my friend's friend, I forget what his name was, told me to call Wally. So what's this about?" He says, "What's this about?" I said, "Well, I'm applying for this golf club engineer position. I'd like to know more about it." And she goes, "Oh, no, Wally's not involved in the interviewing for that position. Let me see if somebody's over in R&D will talk with you." So she switches me over to somebody over in R&D, and somebody actually picks up the phone, and I end up talking with Bill Morgan, who was longtime head of R&D for golf balls there, and he starts asking me questions, and we start talking, and we have a subsequent conversation, I think, and I work my way into an interview later on, and go through the whole process, end up getting the job. After I get there to work there, to go there, and I'm starting working, I understand that Wally Uline is the president and CEO of Titleist. And I had no idea. I mean, this is how stupid you are when you're a 26-year-old straight out of college, a few years, and I had no idea who it was. Didn't really care who it was. Didn't really care to look into it. Just called up, and I mean, just think of this: that they actually transferred me to Wally's office. Sue Pettipaw, who was his assistant at the time, is the nicest woman, and enough to actually talk to me and transfer me over to R&D. Somebody in R&D is actually nice enough to pick up the phone and talk to me. It's just this alignment of the stars that you think that never happens. But
it's like the ballsiness of a college kid. When you're out of college, you don't know enough to be afraid, right? So you literally. Yeah, I was like, yeah, and that's what's so cool because then it opened up so many doors just by you got the job by being yourself and then people just being kind, and I think that's really cool.
I teach now. I teach entrepreneurship now, and I always tell these students, as a guys, you gotta not be afraid to just walk through doors. If a door cracks open a little bit for you, just push it open and see what's there. And I tell them this story, and I tell them a story. I go for the interview, and I just get up there, and Herb Boehm is the head of R&D there. Big desk, big office. Herb's sitting behind his desk, and he pulls up my resume, says, "I'm in my tie," kind of.
I'm nervous. Your first
So
suit.
nervous. My first, and he goes, so pulls out the paper. He goes, so you went to Penn, huh? Mechanical engineering. I said, yes. And he goes, me too.
Oh, you got it. You got the job.
I'm like, oh.
Like, what are the odds of that, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's just. You're being in the right place at the right time, and feeling it's so much of it is just the timing of you push through enough doors, and the timing for one is going to be good.
So then, did you move once you got the job, or what happened then?
Yeah, I got the job, and I got married, moved away from Philly, and started the new job all in a 3-week period.
Oh my gosh,
4-week period, and moved up to living in Providence. This is when this was before they had built the Fairhaven headquarters for Titleist. It was New Bedford still, and we were in an old mill building in New Bedford. And I learned the golf business. I learned how to be a professional. I learned how to work, period, how to be a professional and the golf business from the guys at Titleist, the guys and gals at Titleist. And it could not have been a learning ground for me. I just soaked everything in. And that was, and still is, a fantastic company, extremely, extremely professional, extremely well run. From a brand standpoint, I mean, talk about a classic brand in sports. And they defend and build that brand, I think, better than anybody else.
And the technology that developed over the years is like phenomenal.
Yeah. Kind of hindsight, it was very, very fortunate for me to learn from the people at that company.
So then, did you move when they moved to California?
Yeah, no. So I was working a lot. I was working for Herb and R&D, but working primarily for John Hoflick. John was running the golf club business then, and John moved. We moved the golf club business from Massachusetts out to San Diego, out to Carlsbad in '93. I think I was there from '89 to '93 in Massachusetts, and then we moved it to San Diego in '93. So I
love San Diego.
Yeah, we moved out to North County, San Diego in '93.
So then, how long were you with Titleist then?
Yeah, I was there 7 years.
Oh my gosh,
7 years, and it was, and then it was '89, '96. That was right when the golf business was just kind of.
Oh yeah, I was taking off.
It was awesome. It was
the technology, during that time, the development of the game too, and the players,
yes.
Like they were coming out, yeah. And then, what was your role then at Titleist? What were you doing? What were you making?
So I tell people the story that when I got hired for R&D, that at the time I think there were 60 or 70 people in R&D. They were all in golf balls, and that they were trying to develop the golf club development. So
really?
I was there.
Wow.
I was there to help. I was the first person there to build to do it internally, and then to grow the department. Kind of use the same scientific methods, the scientific approaches that they use for golf ball development for golf clubs. So my role was from the engineering, R&D, a little bit of the product management of it, working with the marketing group on creating new golf clubs. So Rapsodo was started by a gentleman named Batuhan Okur. Goes by Batu. Batu is an engineer, Turkish trained, extremely bright engineer. Top engineering schools in Turkey. Working in Silicon Valley for a few years, and it gets transferred to Singapore. It's interesting how kind of necessity is the mother of invention. He is a casual golfer, likes going to the range and just not a very golfer, but likes beating balls. And he has an eyesight. His depth perception is not so good, so he can't tell where the balls are going. And so he says, "There's got to be, like true engineers, there's got to be some device that helps me figure out where the balls are going." And he looks around and sees these launch monitors out there, and they're all really, really expensive. And he goes, "Oh, there's got to be. I can do better. No, I can figure out something better than that. I can develop something better."
True engineer.
And it goes through a few fits and starts. Has to get funded. Get some angel funding from local people in Singapore. Eventually, essentially develops SkyTrack. the
Oh my
SkyTrack
gosh.
launch monitor. The way it is, he develops it, but he doesn't have the funds to launch it himself. So he signs a deal with Sky Golf and the guys that are partnering with Sky Golf so that they take it, they brand it SkyTrack, they market it and distribute it, but Rapsodo makes it. So Rapsodo becomes the original manufacturer, the OEM of these boxes for SkyTrack.
Wow.
And so he's doing that, and then he's as any good entrepreneur is thinking, well, great, I have this technology, I'm selling it to what else can I use this this expertise for? He's figured out to optically track the ball as it flies through, as it flies through the air in a very inexpensive or cost efficient way. He says, what else can I put this to? He says, hey, let's do it for baseball.
That's awesome.
Right. Of course, nobody in Singapore plays baseball, right? There's no baseball or softball, or not very much. So he starts looking out for people in the U.S. to do it, and he's gotten some friends. He has some local people in Indianapolis, started up a few people working there, and then I get a contact from him through LinkedIn, and this was right in 2015.
Oh, wow.
2014, actually, 2015, right when I've left Rawlings. I spent 10 years working at Rawlings. So I spent, after Titleist for 7 years, we had some golf startups. I did some consulting for Golf Digest. I worked at Golf Digest for a few years. So I had 15 years in the golf business, then 10 years running product for Rawlings, which was primarily baseball.
That's awesome.
Business. And so he sees that on my LinkedIn, and he just reaches out. So I get a cold call LinkedIn. Hey, I see you have baseball golf experience. Can I talk with you? And I don't know about you, but you get all these different
all the time. You're like, it's so annoying. I actually told my wife last night in bed. I'm like, I never check my LinkedIn that often because it's always like, oh, some random guy wants to talk to you about selling you something, and I was like,
exactly. It's like but he again, this timing thing, he catches me right at the time when I've left Rawlings. I'm doing some consulting. And I'm actually starting up a venture we're starting with the partners with what becomes Stadia Ventures, which is my other partnership where we invest in and mentor sports tech startups. So I'm doing that, but I'm doing some consulting, and so I'm open. I'm actually responding to this. So I say, hey, so yeah, okay. And then he tells me, well, I do SkyTrack. And that right away says, oh, okay, the guys know what he's doing. The guy's legit. Yeah, the guys, because I knew SkyTrack. That SkyTrack was a very good product. So we get on a call, and that's how it starts. So I start consulting with the company in 2015, and eventually end up. He asked me to come on board full time in 2017. And what I've always liked about it was I understood that, to me, all the technology was prior. What a lot of it was sensor based. A lot of the figuring out what you had to put sensors on things. And you had some radar. You had radar that was tracking things, and that he was going at it from a primarily optical, using the camera to be able to track. And I was we talked about it, and I was a big believer that was going to be the path to the future. I thought that, and also personally, and I've worked with a lot of people in sports, a lot of people in sports tech, and Batu is without a doubt one of the top probably top 2 or 3 brightest people I've ever worked with.
Wow.
Yes.
And you were with a lot of smart people.
And you can just tell, that's
a whole nother level. Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
yes. So
that's awesome.
If somebody's going to solve a problem, this guy, you put 20 people on an island to solve a problem, and he's getting it off the island. He's figuring out how to do it.
He's the professor on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
he's gonna have a really nice island.
Yes. So that's kind of how it all started.
So when did V1 of Rapsodo come out for the handheld, for the MLM?
So you got to put in 2015, we primarily did a lot of 2015 through 2018, primarily it was all baseball. We were introducing things for baseball. So we came out with pitching and hitting monitors.
You're like number one in baseball for that. I know everybody has it. Like one of my friends is a batting coach for the Dodgers, and he's like, oh yeah, we have that in all the cages. Like he was just telling me, like the hitting cages. I was like, oh my god.
we have this unit that's essentially the same thing we're doing in golf. It's a combines a radar and a camera. So the radar is going to track the ball to get the velocity. The camera is going to take the multiple shots of the ball as it's tumbling through space, and our technology ties the two together in a way that does not require a very expensive radar, does not require a very expensive camera, which allows us to do it. In the baseball business, it's a $4,000 unit, which is much less than the $20,000 TrackMan or Flight Scopes that
Oh yeah, for
that are available
sure.
out there. So that's how it started. And then Batu's kind of his ingenuity is like, well, I have a radar and a camera. What happens if I could use the camera on your phone? Why can't I use this as the camera and combine it with another radar? And we can take this $4,000 unit that's this big, the size of a toaster oven, and let's get it down to something that really is portable, that almost fits in your pocket, that still uses the same basic technology with the radar and the camera. And that's how the mobile launch monitor came about. So while we're building up the baseball business, Batu and the R&D guys back in Singapore are busy taking their technology and getting it down into a smaller and a mobile, using the mobile device, and that becomes the golf mobile launch monitor.
So then when did the MLM come out then? Like exactly that last year?
Yeah, we introduced it kind of a soft launch. We started selling it on our own website in August of 2019. No marketing, nothing. We just kind of
That's like when I met you guys. That's when I met Jake. Like right after that, and I think I don't know how I think we connected on Instagram, but I think we just said this is really cool, and then we started talking, and that kind of thing.
First time we showed it to anybody was at the Vegas what is apparently
PGA,
like apparel show primarily in Vegas in August, I think. So that's the first time we show people. We start to get a little bit of buzz, and then and PGA show Orlando this past January. That really was the big coming out party for us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys know like how cool this product is. Like it costs a fraction of what anything else costs, for a launch monitor. I know we got some competitors are trying to get the market share of it, but like I think you guys are so way ahead of it, and it's such a cool product and it's so small. And then all the interactions that you're doing with other brands now, and like we'll talk about that in a second. I'll let you talk about it, but like it's just phenomenal. Like it's a complete game changer. I mean, it's like everyone's gonna have one in their bag. I already know it.
I tell the guys like I always sound like the old guy in the office. I say, guys, you have no idea how slick this product is. I've been around a lot of products for many years. Put it this way: I remember when I joined Titleist in 1989. There in that mill building in New Bedford. That we were tracking ball flight. You had to walk into a room. You had to put dots on the ball. No, you're not even dots. You had to marker. You had to put the marker, a Sharpie marker, put a T across the ball, and then you had to turn the lights down low, and you hit. And there were strobe that went flashing, that goes off, and you turn the lights back on. You pulled the Polaroid out of the camera. Right, and you little Polaroid.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
You blow on it. You blow on it a little bit, right? You blow on it, and there on your Polaroid is a double exposure. You see two balls there, okay, and the two balls have a little crosshair and and you know the time between the two exposures, so you know what time is there. You take a ruler and you draw a line and you measure the distance. And then you can tell through that distance, you can tell what the velocity is. You have a protractor. You take your protractor out and you measure the angle. So you get your launch angle. And then you based on the way the T goes from here to here on the ball, you calculate the rotations and you get your RPM. And you're doing that by hand. Took a technician, I don't know how many minutes to take one shot and get one piece of data for one shot. And that was this big room. And then when I left Titleist in 96, we had that big room down to about the size of a toaster oven that you took outside, a microwave oven you took outside, still had cameras. Instead of crosshairs, you put dots on the ball that reflected, and the camera, it took multiple exposures, and the computer, then you had the computer trained to figure out instead of drawing the lines, the computer did all those calculations for you, but it still was the size of, it was, and somebody had to run it on a computer. Took two people to operate. And then fast forward, now we have a device that's essentially this size a little
thicker than a cell phone.
Yeah. And so the way the technology has has gone in the last, in the last 20, 25 years has been pretty remarkable.
So I would love to have a tour of it like today, like kind of talked about. Before we do that though, can you tell us more what features are on there or that I guess the relationships you guys are building with the other brands,
Yeah,
that'd
sure.
be kind of cool because it's phenomenal. I mean, you get a lot of people on the internet giving instruction, right, to
Right.
people or through YouTube, whatever it is. But this is cool. I mean, this is like light years ahead.
The cool thing about it is that so this thing sits in back of you, has a radar, you put your camera on top, and it's looking straight from in back of the ball, looking down the target line. So we have to see a certain amount of ball flight in order to visually track the ball, optically track the ball, and then we could project out what that trajectory is going to be downrange. So we need to see the ball. So we need to be sitting in back. But the benefit of that is because we're using a camera, is we're tracking the ball, we're getting your swing as well. So when you play back, as soon as you hit, you look at your phone and you can see the video, and you're going to see your full swing, you're going to see your impact, you're going to see the shot trace. Because we're actually tracking the ball, we could do a shot tracer. So you see the shot tracer, and then of course you get all your data, your launch angle, your
Right there,
velocity,
all
your
in 1
distance,
second.
all in one. So what I like to say is that in a real small package, you're getting full cause and effect. Cause being your swing, effect being not only the shot data but the shot shape. So we can show you what the shot shape is and the trajectory shape is with the tracer.
And what's so cool is like then you can share this with your coach, right?
Yes.
And that's like what's so cool because it's like they don't have to come visit you anymore. Like they could literally just stream it over to you, and you can check it out.
So it was early conversations with one of our mutual one of the guy doing our video and was our marketing consultant, was actually working with Mike Malaska
Oh
at the
wow!
time. He says, "Let me I got to show Mike this." And so Mike was one of the first guys that got it right away. And he says, "Wait a minute, I have guys that are flying in for on their jets to come here for 2 days of lessons with me, right? And then they'll fly home and they'll come back and I'll tell them what to do, and they'll come back 6 months later, and I have no idea what they're doing in that 6 months. I have no idea whether they're actually working on the drill, whether they're doing the drill properly, what's going on." And so so I could still have the lessons that I'm in person, and then I could give them this device, and we can be tracking and communicating, and I could see what their shot results are. He said, that's exactly it. So we got together and built a system that we call Coach Connect that is not live yet. It's about to go live on the mobile launch monitor as a tool for teachers, for teaching professionals to use our mobile launch monitors to swap these videos back and forth so that they can supplement their kind of between.
So cool. It's like so forward thinking, right? It's not like, oh, we made a launch monitor here. It tells you your stuff. It's like you guys are always developing it. So it's it's beyond just that. It's the app. It's the tool. It's something that people just carry. It can be used by instructors. Like it just, I don't know. I feel like it's a complete game changer. There's nothing else like it, So I don't know. I'm just blown away. I love mine. I mean, it's so.
It is very slick.
And when you look at it too, and you're like, "Holy crap!" Got shots. You look at the shot tracer, and then you see that you're like all your numbers. You're like, it's just, I don't know. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And I got one back in September, I think, October.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you're not the only one that gets it. So we get together, and then we showed it to my old boss at Golf Digest, Jerry Tardy, who was still running the magazine, running the organization, and that led into a partnership we have with them where we've been working for the last 6 months on developing. This is going to be the premium tier of their Golf Digest schools.
Oh my gosh!
So you'll be able to go on there, and if you have a pro, you can go back and forth with your pro. If you don't have a pro, you can send it, go through their Golf Digest top 100 young pros, top pros in your state, top 50, and you can go choose and select and send your swing to whoever you want and get feedback from
it's phenomenal. I mean, if you think about it, in the last year with what you guys are developed, right? I mean, I know plenty of instructors that teach via internet, right? Like they'll provide, people say, send me your video, I'll review and I'll send it back to you. And it's like, they don't have to do that anymore. It's just automatic, right? So it's going to be like, it's going to change the industry. I think it's going to help a lot of pros too, help their students regardless of where they live in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it will make their life easier. Hopefully, allow them to generate some additional revenue by being able to not be tied down by the range. Time on the range. They can actually give lessons and communicate at home or from their living room. But at the bottom line, it's got to work, right? If it doesn't work, then it really doesn't make anybody's life easier. So the proof is going to be in the ease of the transaction. Does it really make a pro's life easier?
Yeah, and make the player better, right? Because
Make the player better. That's right.
So can you show us some of the features on the Rapsodo then
Yeah.
today?
Let me tell you what. Let me. Okay, can I go share screen so you can see my screen now?
Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see that's my cell phone. Okay, so I'm going to pop up. So it's just an app. So you see my apps here. You see this MLM app in the bottom portion. So I'm going to click on this MLM app on the bottom, and it's going to open up Mobile Launch Monitor app. Okay, this is the home screen. So this is a scroll. You can see each one of these sections is a session I've had. 18 shots. I think that was with my son. 32 shots. That was my son. Can keep scrolling down, and you see all the different practice sessions that I've had. Okay, so let's take a look at. So if I click on this one, 22 shots practice June 2nd. Let's click on that one, and that opens up. So there's a record of every shot that I hit that day. You can tell I hit 22 shots. I hit some pitching wedges, some 8-irons, some 3-woods. Up top, you see the average. My average distance was 127 a pitching wedge. Average distance was 150 on an 8-iron. Average distance was 233 on my 3-wood. Okay, and then in the upper right, if you look, you see that outdoor. So this shows this was outdoor as opposed to an indoor setting. And then just below that, you see a little green with the flag on it. I'm going to click on that button, and that gives the GPS satellite view of my actual session. So this is an actual.
Isn't that insane, you guys? It's so freaking cool.
So this is my range at Forest Hills in Chesterfield, Missouri. What happened was when I turned it on, it asked me where I was. So it gives me a GPS view. I pinpoint exactly where in the range I was. I was on the right side in the back of the range. That's where I was. If I had been on the left side, I would have pinpointed the left side of the range. And then I align the target line along where I'm aiming, and then I just go ahead and hit. And this is the results. Now I'm gonna put my finger. You can't see me, but I'm gonna put my fingers on the screen. I'm gonna enlarge the screen. As I enlarge the screen, watch what happens. See?
Oh my God!
Each dot, it's color coded for the different club type. So there's my dispersion. That's an individual. Every single shot that shows the landing area. And then the cool part is, if I'm going to click this one of the 3, if I can click on that, that is the actual shot shape. I actually pulled that one a little bit and drew it. So that was like a slightly pulled draw, and that went 237. Let's see this other 3-wood one. That was a block for. So I got to go in both ways that day. Not great.
It was windy.
Yeah, it was windy right there. Thank you, Bob.
It was going one way and then went the other way.
I appreciate that. So you can kind of tell what your dispersion is, and you get an idea of what each shot is. And then if you look down in the lower right, you see in the lower portion, you see all the stats for that. I can scroll through and see launch direction, launch angle. I can see all the stats. And then you see the little camera icon on the right hand side of just above the numbers. I'm going to click on that, and I will get the video of that swing. You know what? I'm going to show it to you in a different way. It's not popping up for me on that for some reason on that. I'm going to go back to this view.
So because you're plugged it in the computer.
I think because I'm plugged in the computer.
Yeah, it's probably being weird.
So let me try it this way. So on this view, if you're scrolling on each individual shot, I get all the data here. So I can slide it over, and you see the camera icon. So first, most important is the trash can. So when I hit a foul ball or I shank one, I can erase it. So you don't.
Maybe it was windy. You could erase those.
You don't have to see it. So, but let's hit that camera icon. So I'm gonna hit the camera icon, and now you're gonna get the actual swing.
Look at that, you guys! Is it insane?
And you get the tracer. You get your apex height, just like out on. I hit a low ball. You can tell.
Awesome, dude.
6.3 degree launch angle. I'm only getting 41 feet of apex. So I'm hitting a low ball. It's a 142 is pretty good ball speed for me. I hit that one really solid, but it's low. It's if I could get that launch up, I would definitely increase my distance. And that's what's telling me. And I can also take this. You see the scrub bar on the bottom. I'm going to hit this, and I can scrub it, so I can come back and I can.
You can see what's going on with your swing.
I can see what's going on with my swing. So
and how you hit it.
Yeah, so my pro has me trying to. It says get a little bit more wrist cock. I've been trying to work on my wrist cock early because I usually haven't been cocky. And then when I get to the top, I kind of do this reload thing with my body, which is not great. I kind of right there, kind of like I kind of lunge at it
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're
and
probably
so
delayed by like a half a second or something,
yes,
maybe.
yes. So he says, my backswing is too long, so I'm getting caught there. I need to shorten up the backswing, cock it early, and I take a shorter backswing.
What's
Essentially,
cool too is you can show us to your pro and be like, look, this is what I've been doing. When you say I've been practicing, and then he's like, oh yeah, you're still doing X, Y, Z,
still
and then you
doing
can
it.
work on X, Y, Z.
Still
Like
doing
not
it. Yep. And then so if I like that video, so if you see in the lower right hand corner, there's a send button. In the lower right corner is like a little arrow. So if I click on that, I can export it. So here, and then we work with partners. So we've done some dummy logos. So if I wanted to put Forest Hills in the upper right corner, that's our club. So if they had an outing, we could put their logo on every video. So let's just do that. I'll put the logo on there, and then it exports it, and it's going to get prepared to export. And I'd say it's about 6-7 seconds, it gets ready, and then I can go ahead and see. I can send this to anybody here. I can send it. I can text it to you. I can email it to you. I can airdrop it. I can Teams it. I can send this to my pro.
oh
So
wow.
that's how easy that is to send. And then the other part is that when I'm back in this view, say I wanted to change club. Say this wasn't a 3-wood. This was a driver. I would just come in and I would pop that button, and it
Oh,
would.
you change it out because like, oh, that was the wrong club.
I could
Whoops.
change it out. Yeah, yeah. So that gives you the view of what's going on in the kind of the home view. Now, if you look at coach, so this is the portion. Oh, so I'm sorry. Upper left corner, you see sessions. You see that's how we're on sessions, but I can click on stats, and if I click on stats, now this gives me a summary by club of the averages of every club that I hit. So you can see in the top underneath home it says lifetime. And then over on the right it says LT. I can switch from lifetime view. I can say I want to see like the last month worth of view. So here's my stats from the last month, and it gives you an idea of basically my club gaps of what I've hit each club. I can pick. Let's see what I've been hitting gap wedges for the last month. On last month I've been averaging 105 yards, distance, ball speed, 85 mile an hour. So that gives you everything.
There's no more guesswork, right? It's not like if you've been played for a couple of months and you're like, oh, I had a 7-iron, and then it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be hitting a 7-iron because you're really hitting it short now,
It completely gives you from a club gapping. I think that's probably the number one. Everybody wants to know number one, how do they hit it further, right? But number two is the club
so
gapping.
cool. It's so cool. It's so advanced. It's like, and the price point, I mean, they're $500, you guys. I mean, like the price point is so affordable for the amount of technology you're getting. It's just, I don't know. It's mind blowing.
I'll give you a sneak peek. So if you hit coach, see at the bottom, see on the bottom we're on the home page right now, but right next to home is coach. I can hit coach, and this is what is about to launch. This is what is about to launch. So you see premium coaches. You see we're working with guys like Mark Blackburn, Mike Malaska, Helen Curtin here is one of our top local pros in the St. Louis area. And then we're working with Golf Digest on the bottom to be able to, these are not live now, but they will be live where you can search for teachers if you want to send it. But see, for my coach, upper left, you have Discover, then I have my coaches. So I'm going to hit my coaches. And there, I've signed up with, we're testing this with Jeff Hodgkins, who's actually a fellow Rapsodo employee. So I've been sending him back and forth. So I can click on that. And Jeff, it shows you a little lesson that we've been sending back and forth. I sent in some swings and he marked up some swings. And we have a little chat going. You could tell he drew.
Oh, so you can mark it up too.
You can mark it up. Yeah, he drew on my videos a little bit, and he can show how he could show how one played versus the other.
Oh my God.
You can compare one swing, versus another with all the launch data, with all the shot tracer, and this is all this is what the coach gets in their Coach Connect app.
And then they can talk to you and be like, look, this is what you're doing wrong.
Exactly. It's voiceover. He's got a little voiceover. He got a little chat if he wants to text, if he wants to type it in, or if he wants to just voice it over. And it just,
he can do all on his phone, right?
All on his iPad. Yeah. He does it all on his iPad.
Yeah,
and it just screen records the whole thing, and then he hits send, and it comes back to me, and I go, oh yeah, geez, I'm still doing that. Still got that problem. I got to go. And then if he wants, he can send me a drill. He can have some canned drills that he just attaches to the conversation and sends them over.
So he could literally have like his own, let's say, I mean, I could see a lot of well-known online golf coaches have a whole program and then just be like, okay, here's the program. It's all recorded. It all gets imported in and they just send it to the student over the next year or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's phenomenal. Can you give us a little more of a tour too? Because this is really good stuff, you guys. I mean, this is the GM, right? So, I mean, he can tell you.
So in this area, so if I wanted to add a coach, I don't know if you have other teachers, you can add a coach. You hit that button and ask you just. So if I have my local pro that up at Upper Club, I want to be able to go back and forth with him, and I could add him. He'll get an email saying, "Hey, Art wants to add you as a coach," and
Art, I'm going to add you as my coach.
He can accept. Oh, I don't know if you want me. You don't want me looking at your swing. I don't think. This is
that Golf Digest feature is like phenomenal right there. It's like you've gone from one game changer to a whole nother game changer just with what you're doing right here.
This is very slick. Then at the bottom, so at the bottom again, I'll hit play. So play in the middle. Play is the play mode. So this is
what's play mode.
Play is you're actually going to record shots.
Okay.
So if you're going to record shots, I would hit play. So what I'll do is I'll hit. So I'll tell you what, I have my mobile launch monitor right here sitting next to me. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to hit practice. So I would hit practice. Right, the net is a beta. Right now we're outdoor only, but we are working on a beta, which should be live in about 10 days, where you can hit into a net as well. But let's say we're going to do outdoor. Let's say we're going to go outdoor. So then you see, it'll ask me. It goes to the GPS on my phone, and it says mark your current location. Now assume we're out on the range. That white. This is the area. That's my yard. That's my house right there. I am sitting. Let's see, right about
by the front door.
Yeah, right by the front door. That's me. So I'm going to confirm the location.
That's what I was doing. I was showing my dad this, and we were in his backyard playing with it, and it was like the same thing. It was like, oh my gosh.
Let's assume my range goes directly across the street. So I'm going to hit directly into our neighbor's yard across the street. So let's say that's the direction of our range. So we say, okay, confirm heading. Good. And now we connect it. And now you see, once it's connected, the camera on my phone is activated, and also GPS wise, it knows there's two golf courses or two ranges in this general area.
Oh my gosh!
I live on this Forest, so I'm going to say, yeah, I'm at Forest Hills Country Club. So I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit save, and that now we're going. And now you can see you're seeing what my phone is seeing. I would take this and I'll show you on my. So that's the monitor right here.
Yeah.
I would take it. I would place it on the unit. I'd actually place it. The cord's in the way, but I'll place it on the. And then I would face the direction that we're facing across the street. So we'd have to face across the street like that. And then we'd go hit. And
so how far back do you put that from where you're standing?
You put this 6 to 8 feet in back of the ball.
Okay.
6 to 8 feet. And if you notice in the upper right corner, it says OT, that little gray circle. If I click on that, that's other. So I get to select my club. So cool. I can select my club, right? And so I'm going to hit 3 woods. So it changes to 3 wood. For woods, you're automatically you can either change from total distance to carry distance. Irons is automatically carry distance. A neat feature we have also is that if you took your club, I don't have a club right here, but if you took your club and waved it in front of the camera and showed it the number on the bottom, it reads the number on the sole of the club and will automatically change the club. So if I waved the 5-iron in front of this, it would see the number 5 on the bottom of my club, and it would.
So it has AI and it can read it.
It does. It does. We've trained it. We had to train it. I had interns go into our bag room here and basically pull out everybody's club and take video of everybody's club. So we're training the computer to recognize what this number 5 looks like, what that number 5 looks like.
Based on what brands, whatever, they might make it different.
So you're all done. So say I'm done hitting balls. Then I would come out and I would hit the upper left, our R logo in the upper left. I would hit that. And it would say, okay, you're about to exit your current session. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to exit, and now we're back. And then I would go back and I say, hey, I want to review my sessions. Then I would go to that home, the lower left, and I'd go back to there. And now I'm back into still in stats mode. So now I go sessions mode. So now I'm back into this mode. And if I just hit
top, right?
It would be on top. Yeah, it would be. You would have the most recent session on top. It would pop up, and I could go and review my shots.
So can somebody use this out when they're playing around? You can. It just put it behind you. And...
I've done it many times. I'll go out if I'm playing with 3 other guys, what I'll do is as the first guy's going up to the tee, I'm pulling this out. I'm you saw me do the GPS right there. That's how long it
Yeah.
takes. It does not take long. I can do the GPS, pick out the tee we're on, get the shot, and
Seconds.
while he's putting his ball on the ground, I'm getting 8 feet in back of him and saying, "Hey, what's your target line? Are you target there?" So I'm going to I'm going to aim it at that tree. You're aiming at that tree. I set it there, and I just get out of the way, and he hits. And by the time everybody else hits, by the time we've reached their balls, I have texted them their video of that shot.
Oh my gosh. So can you create like different users, or you just send them the video and they're on your account?
Usually what happens is the easiest if I'll send them the video. You could create different users, but you'd have to have different users on the app. So you'd have to
Oh,
sign in. You'd have to sign back out and then sign back
yeah.
in the app under a
But
different.
you used to be like, so you would just put on a play session, right? And then you're just like,
yes,
as
exactly.
you did it, you just send it out to them real quick afterwards.
Exactly. So we would hit. So basically, instead of 18 shots practice, it would say if I took all 4 of our shots, it would say 4 shots, and it would say practice mode, and it would say Forest Hills Club, and it would give the yardages. And then if you went to those 4 shots, it would be our 4 tee shots.
And you would know whose is whose because you guys know what your order was.
Yes, exactly. And or I could play the video and I could see who's who. And then once I play the video,
So freaking cool. So what do the other buttons do on the bottom? I'm just kind of looking at a tour here because I mean, you don't get this kind of information without.
Yeah. So
Explore.
Yeah, Explore is a function that we started off with that really has not been widely used. That we're not really putting it now. So it's basically so there's Faldo at the PGA show. It says me because I'm using my phone where he's giving a demo. But Explore is just a scroll. It's a feed of shots. We thought one of the interesting things was
kind of cool.
People just like to see other people. So there's Chris Bryant. So we have a bunch of our MLB players there that we've taken shots of. So Luke Weaver. So we have a bunch of MLB guys. So we just thought there'd be this kind of scroll of a feed of shots. So if you want to just go there and just look at a bunch of people's shots, sometimes we'll have it be the best shots of the day, long drives of the day. It'll be the WTF. Weird shots of the day. So this is our way of just having a scroll.
It's cool. I think it's cool.
It's kind of mesmerizing to watch people's shots. We've set up with we've done some tournaments with teaching pro with club pros where we're out on the golf course and we're taking everybody's shot from one hole, right? We are the long drive contest, but we're going to get a video of you and your data, and then we'll go in afterwards at the cocktail reception and we hook this up to we do Apple TV up to a big screen and we'll scroll the entire day's shots on this constant feed, and it is unbelievable how everybody wants to come up, and it's kind of mesmerizing how everybody wants to see everybody's shot. And of course, they want to see their own. They're waiting until their own shot comes up.
That's so freaking cool. And then your profile is obviously your profile.
Yes, profile is I click. So on profile, so what you can also do is you can select. You can customize your bag. So if you don't have to. If you only use certain clubs, you can customize that to whatever you want. Okay, and then there's some different things. So app setting. Here's where you can see your units. So if you want to do
if you live in a different part of the world,
if different part of the world metric, and then driver and wood distance, it is defaulted to total. But if you just wanted to see how far you were carrying it, you could switch it over to carry. I'm going to switch it back to total. Okay, that's profile. So that's
so cool.
That's pretty much the.
This is like the behind the scenes on Rapsodo.
I'm telling you, it is. If you like looking at it, like if you like going to the range at all, this will completely transform your range experience.
100%. I think it'll transfer your game, actually. I just think, I don't know. I think as more people learn about it, they're like, oh, I want that, just because it's cool. And what I like about it too is you're always updating the app, right? And the app is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, isn't it? That's why the phone is.
Absolutely. If you talk to our baseball, you talk to our baseball customers or our golf customers and ask them how often are their apps updated. I'm telling you, we probably have an internal new version of the golf app. I would say at least once a week, where we're working on new things, and then we got to get it right, and we'll have a public release we've probably had since January, we've probably had a few different public releases since
Oh yeah,
January.
you're always updating the app, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's fluid. But if you buy a Rapsodo now, right, it's still going to be good a year from now because the app is doing all the stuff. Unless
The
there's
app
a
is
new,
doing everything.
yeah, that it's like so we don't need to worry like oh, I got to buy. It's not like when you buy like a GPS watch or like a GPS or like the technology might change, but that's okay because the base unit still works the way it's supposed to work. The app is what's going to be updated.
Exactly. For example, I'll give you a sneak preview. I have not a public app. I have a beta of the new, and you see here 2 sessions. First one is top one is outdoor. Hey, that second one, 18 shots says net. Let's see what that is.
Oh snap!
Okay, so I got a net. So I'm going to.
I've heard about this. I know this is the game. This is crazy right here.
So now I have this is shots from my basement. I have a very dark basement. So I took 18 shots. I hit pitching wedges and 7 irons. So let's see what this one looks like. And
Go the back way again.
There it is.
Oh, nice.
That's me in my basement. Now look at that. It's the lighting is not very good. The lighting is different. The background is different. And
but you're also indoors in a basement
yep.
using a tool that, look at that, you guys.
Okay, so I'm getting all the data. Now, the one difference is no shot tracer. No shot tracer into that because we're only seeing seeing about 7 feet of ball flight, 7-8 feet of ball flight. So we're focused right now on making sure that you get the video. I can still scrub. I can still take a look at that. There's my same move where I'm kind of lunging down at it. That's I got to get rid of. Okay, so I can still see that. I can still see all the data. But the only difference is that indoors, into a net, you're never going to get an accurate shot tracer. You're just not seeing enough of the ball flight.
That's so cool, though. I mean, especially with COVID and everything, like people being at home, like they could just do this. They can do it in their backyard, or they can do it indoors.
And then we thought
it was in the winter.
We thought it was important that you keep the net sessions different from the outdoor sessions because I don't know about you, but my basement it's a relatively low ceiling. I cannot hit anything. Probably over 8 iron in there. 7 iron, I got to choke down on these 7 irons. So my distances are going to be different than my full swing outdoor. So I don't want them commingled. I don't want those numbers to mess up my averages on my outdoor.
So how do you pick? You just pick when you do your session.
Keep them separate. Yes.
You just say net instead of outdoor.
So when I hit play, so if I go play again, I play out practice. And they're at the bottom.
Oh, the beta net,
yes,
that's right.
Net or outdoor. And so right away, if I hit net, then it's the GPS it's not going to matter, right? So the GPS doesn't turn on.
We'll show you location.
Yes, it doesn't show the location, but it also switches the computer and the camera over to it's only going to track that 8 feet of ball flight instead of tracking the first probably 60, 70, 80 feet of ball flight.
Wow, and that's coming out like the next couple weeks, right? Indoor.
You saw right there. We're fine tuning it down. We have a bunch of people. I don't know. Some of your listeners probably have been some of our beta testers. We have some. We have activated on some of the apps depending on the phone type you have, and so we've asked people to submit because what we need to do is we need to train the camera to be able to recognize the ball in all these different settings. You can see my setting where it's dark. It's half backlit and half not backlit, but somebody else's setting might be outdoors into the sun where it's a net that's kind of moving with the wind. So you got all these different things that the camera has to recognize, and it's got to be able to isolate the ball separate from everything.
After all this noise,
all the noise, exactly. So that's for computer vision guys, that's all about getting reps. It's just you need lots and lots of repetitions of different settings to train the computer. What's what.
That's awesome. I mean, there's so much coming out. I mean, in the next couple of weeks with the new update, it's going to be crazy. I mean, you think about it, this product's only been around for less than a year, technically, like on the market, right? Since you said it was like, it got displayed at the Las Vegas show, and then you started selling them in September. Here it is June. Look, it's June, you guys, and they've already made like massive updates, and then they're making even more massive updates because it's just, I don't know. It's so cool. I don't know. I think it's the coolest.
We have, we may seem like a small company. There's probably 20 of us in the U.S. on sales, marketing, distribution. I'd say 2/3 on baseball, working the baseball business right now. So it's a very small golf crew.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
But we
I didn't
have
realize that.
I think about 30 people in Singapore, a bunch of PhDs, computer vision, a bunch of supply chain, operations people, and then we have another 30 people in Turkey. Our founder is again a Turkish engineer, knows the engineering scene over there quite well. We have another 30 plus people in Turkey doing all of this type of analytics work,
It's like 100 people. It's 100 person.
It is absolutely it's about 100 people working on this, and it is around the clock, literally based on the time zones.
Oh yeah,
pretty
you're
much
all the
around
major
clock
time
working
zones.
on. I'll show you. I'll click on this closed competitions. There's another little feature so that you can do these little competitions. So if you want to, you can enter competitions that we run occasionally, and we give away a little prize. So we'll do it closest to the pin, 170 yards. You basically set it up. You get 5 shots to see how far you can hit it, to hit it close to a 170-yard target. And so we'll do close to the pin, long drive. This is kind of just a way to have.
It's cool to like interact with your consumer too, right?
Yeah.
And then it's kind of fun. I mean, this could grow out too for all, just because people are very competitive and they'd be like, oh yeah, win a trip to wherever, it's some kind of deal with Golf Digest or something.
Yeah,
exactly. That is so cool. Well, I didn't know we were going to have a behind the scenes look today on the app, which I think is great because I know people love seeing it, right? It's hard to talk about a product without actually seeing it. And I can show you on a phone and be like, oh, here it is. And here's how it looks. But they're not going to really see it. But thanks very much for showing this. This is really neat.
So that's it. Yeah, you got to. It's look. From a full cause and effect to be able to see the swing, the data. It is extremely slick. It's only going to get more and more. We have the net capability coming out here in the next few weeks. We'll have the Coach Connect capability that we're launching with the Golf Digest here, by the middle of the kind of late summer. And
that's fine. It doesn't matter. What's so cool about this product is it doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's not like, oh, it's the golf season. It doesn't matter. You can do it. This is practice, 100% practice. And you can do it any time of the year, regardless of where you live, indoor or outdoor. And can I do with a coach, even a top 100 coach is
That's right.
I mean, it's awesome. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time today. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate the relationship I have with Rapsodo. I'm glad I met with you guys at the very beginning because I like growing with you guys. I think you guys have phenomenal technology. Everyone I've worked with over there is super cool, super nice. I met Art at the show, but there's a couple other people I've been working with over there at Rapsodo. They're just a really good group of people, awesome product. And so thank you again for being on the show today.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it.
Great.